Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Kevin Gilmore here. We're going to get started here in just a second. Want to verify people can hear me and if they can hear me clearly.
Sorry, could you repeat yourself there? You kind of cut out a little bit. In St. Tammany, yeah, so we still have a tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch in effect for St. Tammany as well as a storm surge warning. It looks like Marco is going to move, Hurricane Marco is going to move up towards the Louisiana coast during the day tomorrow. And so there's going to be rain squalls that are going to be rolling through the parish throughout the day tomorrow and even into tomorrow night. We should see, winds when those squalls roll through.
Perfect. All right. Looks like we're getting confirmation. We got some good audio here, loud and clear. Excellent. All right. All right. Let's get started here. So just be 1 second. Just want to make sure everything's good and ready to go. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Gilmore here with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana. We're going to get started here in just a moment about the latest with Hurricane Marco and Tropical Storm Laura. I'm sure a lot of people have been hearing the news a lot about there's two systems that are threatening portions of the northern Gulf Coast. A lot of this has been threatening portions of Louisiana, even coastal Mississippi as well, where we serve for our office. Well, we kind of want to pass along the latest information that we have here and talk about any potential impacts that exist across the area. Let's go ahead and get started here first with kind of a quick overview of the system. So this is Hurricane Marco, currently located in the northern Gulf. This system has been showing a little bit of blow-up of convection here. This is what we call infrared satellite imagery. And infrared satellite imagery measures can scan to see what the temperature of the cloud tops are. So usually the darker colors are the colder cloud tops, which is representative of a lot of thunderstorm activities. So you see there's a lot of blow-up of convection right around the center of the circulation. However, if you zoom out a little bit here, and now we're looking at the rest of the Gulf of Mexico, you can see where Marco is here in respect to the rest of the Gulf. You see that there's a lot of clouds being kind of skewed off to the north a little bit. And what that is there's a little bit of wind shear that the system is dealing with, which is keeping the system from becoming organized and growing in strength. That's great news for a lot of people, including ourselves here. However, we still think there will be impacts across the area, and in fact those impacts look likely across a lot of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi going into Monday and even during the day on Tuesday. And on the bottom right part of your screen there, can't see me because I'm blocking it, but that is Laura. We're going to talk about that one too. However, we're not going to talk as much about that system. We want to make sure people are aware about the impacts with Marco first, as there is a potential for impacts for both systems across the area. And we're going to kind of jump in that here real quick. First of all, showing the latest radar imagery here across the area of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. As you can see, we do have some showers just kind of rotating around the flow around Marco. These showers have been moving at a pretty good clip and haven't really been dumping really too much rain with them, and we've been noticing a little bit of a downward trend. However, we'll see isolated shower chances continue through the night and especially during the day tomorrow as some of the moisture from Marco moves up towards our area. Now let's go ahead and dive in right first into the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. This is the latest Hurricane Marco update as of 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. As you can see, the track has the system continuing up to the north and northwest, eventually making a curve now. So there has been some changes with the last track. The system now is a little bit further to the south and west now, but still, with a lot of southeast Louisiana is within that cone, and we want people to be aware of that. There still is impacts. Even though you may see the track wobble a little bit, we do not want you to pay attention to the center of that line, basically the center. Okay, looks like we're back here. Just want to verify one more time. Looks like we had a slight disconnection issue. Can I get one more quick verification that people can hear me? Okay, just be 1 second here. I just want to make sure that it looks like we had a little bit of a disconnection.
I hear you.
Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, just wanted to make sure. Looks like we had a random little disconnection there. Just want to make sure people can hear us. Okay, let's continue along with, again, with Hurricane Marco. Do not focus on the center of that track. There's still going to be impacts across the area, and we want people to be aware of that. So as we continue through with some of the expected impacts, let's go through some of the watches and warnings one by one. I know there's a lot of watches and warnings in effect for a large area across the parts of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. First, hurricane warnings are in effect across the immediate coast of southeast Louisiana and south Mississippi, along with tropical storm warnings, which includes the New Orleans Metro, the North Shore, Baton Rouge Metro, and the Mississippi coast. These are due to hurricane and tropical storm conditions possible in the next 36 hours. Surrounding, including some of the same areas that are overlapped, is a hurricane watch in effect for inland southeast Louisiana, and that does also include the north and south shore areas and tidal lakes. Tropical storm watch surrounding those areas more towards the north. This is due to tropical storm and hurricane conditions possible in the next 48 hours. Also, we have storm surge watches and warnings in effect for a large part, including all coastal areas of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Warnings include the open coast from Morgan City to Ocean Springs, watches in effect for the tidal lakes, and the immediate coastal areas from Ocean Springs to the Alabama border. Here, there is the potential for inundation in these areas from Morgan City to the Mississippi River, which is going to be kind of the bottom of your map where the warning is. This includes Grand Isle, areas across the Terrebonne Parish, Lafourche Parish, and Plaquemines Parish coastal areas of around 4 to 6 feet. Mississippi River to Ocean Springs, a little bit less, but still impactful, around 3 to 5 feet. Lake Pontchartrain and Maurepas, some of the tidal lakes, 2 to 4 feet potential. And Ocean Springs to the Alabama border, where we talked about where the watch is, 1 to 3 feet potential inundation. So the big takeaway here is if you live in an area that usually sees, for example, coastal flooding due to a long fetch of stronger winds coming in or high tides, if abnormal high tides, you do see some coastal flooding issues or minor coastal flooding issues due to abnormally high tides. This is the type of situation you can expect there to be some flooding and inundation in your area. And some areas that don't traditionally see coastal flooding from higher than normal tides could see some inundation issues. So we want you to have a plan in place. We want you to make sure that you know where you're going should you need to get away from the coastal areas. And do it now. This is the time. If you're in a warning especially, do it now. Go ahead and check with your local officials. Check with the media to see what areas have evacuation orders in effect, mandatory or voluntary. And just make sure that you pay attention to that, as there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. And of course, we talk about with storm surge and how deadly it can be. It can cause devastating flooding along the coast, and we want you to listen to officials and follow evacuation orders, like we just said. Also, we do have a flash flood watch in effect as well for rainfall amounts around 3 to 6 inches possible in association with Marco. This includes a large portion of southeast Louisiana, but basically the I-10-12 corridor on south. And this is in effect 1 a.m. Monday or later tonight through early Tuesday morning. And we know flash flood watch means conditions may develop that lead to flash flooding, and that's because that 3 to 6 inch range across the area could be locally higher in some areas as well, especially if we get some banding developing. And of course, we always say this, please turn around, do not drown. If roads become inundated or floodwaters cover the roads, do not travel through flooded roads. Do not travel across barricades. It's the best exercise we could tell you. If the water is covering the road, just don't even try it. You're risking your life and the lives of safety personnel coming to try and rescue you. And of course, like I said, never drive through flooded waters. Only up to 12 inches of water can actually sweep a car off the road, so please be aware of that. So that's what we got there. We want to kind of go back here just for one quick moment, just to kind of discuss a few more other things here before we go into Laura. We want to also mention that, as I kind of just mentioned before, there are a lot of mandatory and voluntary evacuations in effect across Lafourche, Orleans, Jefferson, and even Plaquemines Parish, a lot of these areas. There are some mandatory and voluntary evacuation orders, but we cannot go through every single one of them. We want you to, we stress for you to pay attention to local officials and basically your local media for this information, especially as we're kind of early on that right now. This could change over time. But for the main part, this is kind of what we're seeing right now. Also, another thing is just to kind of mention, we do have some COVID testing sites across New Orleans are now closed, and due to the potential impacts from both systems. So this could impact you and your plans, or a lot of people around the area. And we want people to realize that there could be a lot of changes coming around the corner here just come up shortly. So we want people to be as prepared as possible about the system, and we'll get through it. It's kind of an abnormal situation, but it's not uncommon. We've had 2 systems in the Gulf before. And here I'm going to show this real quick. We're just going to go over some of the key points about, let's see if we can kind of get back here. There we go. With Laura, here's Laura now with the latest track and position as of the intermediate advisory, which just actually came out as of the 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time advisory. This system, of course, we need to talk about this one as well, because as Marco departs the area, we could have another system. This could possibly be a stronger hurricane coming into the Gulf late Monday night into early Tuesday. If this is the case, the system has plenty of warm water and favorable upper atmospheric conditions for the system to grow, become stronger as it continues off to the northwest and enters the northwestern Gulf. What we want you to pay attention to here is the size of the cone in this case. This cone stretches from Houston, Texas, all the way to around Grand Isle, Louisiana. Of course, as the system progresses across Cuba, it's going to be interacting with a lot of mountains terrain, which is not really that helpful for systems to stay healthy. Systems like this, tropical systems, like a lot of warm water, low wind shear, so they can grow vertically and stay very healthy. But when it's interacting with land, there's a lot of variables at play here. The system can redevelop new centers and throw model guidance off track. And if that's the case, the track could change. So we don't want you to talk about that single point of where it could be going, as the track could be adjusting through time. The most important thing, the key takeaway here, is that impacts across Southeast Louisiana does look very possible. We're going to get a little bit more detail about this, especially coming a little bit later. We're going to do another Facebook Live, possibly around 9 o'clock. We know we're pretty busy. I'm going to be completely honest. We're pretty busy here in the New Orleans office. We've been having basically a lot of messaging to do with this, and we want to make sure everyone, including you, people, partners, everybody is staying safe with the storm that's approaching. And we're going to check back here again. We're going to shoot for 9 o'clock, but look for a post on Facebook and Twitter to verify that. And we may go in a little bit more detail too, and kind of get into the meteorology behind a lot of what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and end it there, and we'll talk with you later. Thanks for joining.